Okay, good. You're right. Okay, Joyce. Okay, so Shabbat teaches us that our life is sacred, that our work and joy can be dedicated to God, and that we find the truest happiness in serving the Eternal One. Let us praise God in the symbol of joy as we express gratitude for all the blessings of the past week, for our lives and our health, for our homes, for our loved ones and friends, for the happiness that has come to us from our efforts. We have ennobled us by the blessings of work and have given us the gift of Shabbat rest. As it is written in the Torah, 6 days shall you labor and do all your work, but the 7th day is Shabbat, to be devoted to the eternal God. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei pri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratza banu. Veshabat kodsho be'ahava u'ratzon hilanu zikaron le'maaseh bereshit ki hu yom tehillah le'mikrah kodesh zecher letziat Mitzrayim kivanu macharta Beotanu kirashta mitzvot ha'amim ve'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava u'ratzon inchaltanu baruch atah Adonai mekadesh ha'shabbat l'chaim. And then challah. I have a big challah here. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, motzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. Okay, people have gloves.
Lots of my voice changed. It's like the vocal cords have changed.
Let me get the glove myself, and then we'll.
Yeah, it'll all be gone.
Yeah.
I can hold it down now.
Yeah. Share it with Anit.
Here. Okay.
Not too skinny. Man, this love is like not I'm not gonna be able to do surgery.
I'm sorry?
I'm not gonna be able to do surgery. The glove is too tight.
Oh, of course.
You can still do prostate though.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You can hold it for this.
Jacques, it isn't just the glove that means you won't be able to do surgery.
I have high hopes. Anybody more for wine? More wine?
So who else joining us?
People in Colombia, Mexico, 4 Mexico,
And even the top of Joyce's head's here again.
Oh, you see her eyes. Yep, I saw her mouth.
There we go.
It goes back to the same position, Joyce.
more. Anybody?
Where was Len off to?
More?
Or is he still there? Oh, hi Len.
Hi, Len. Is he muted? Yeah, he's muted.
Everybody's muted. I put Matthew in charge. And his wife is laughing. So she knows how he's capable of
Yeah,
doing.
me now.
There.
Yeah. Okay.
The garbage cans in the other room.
We'll get it.
Anybody else have
We'll
posts
get
to
it
go?
covered.
Oh, I was just gonna take it around.
Here's another. And here comes the grand garbage collector.
Love,
We don't get to keep the gloves.
you can keep them.
You can put it down.
No, in the past, when a tenant left the house and I saw so many gloves, I had different impression about what's going on there.
There,
Now, the
Yeah.
I have come.
you can't finish this. It's not good for me. Too many carbs.
We got some of the floor. I think we need to get our purple.
Yeah, we were
Here's
busy.
some Fisador
We
here.
were busy davening.
Folks, just give us a few minutes to set up. And we'll be in business.
Put it there. Give us a letter.
Let's see.
Should be on, we'll test it. Here. If you're gone, we'll have to use your really way.
That's gonna be an issue.
Can Denise bring it?
That, yes, for, yes.
Yeah, it's underneath there. Where it used to be. I don't know where you put it now.
Yes, you're still in time to get some Carline wine. This is good. It's good enough.
Test, we need to test whether it came through.
Okay, try that. Denise is doing something with a coworker. I don't know, I don't remember
Is
what.
this coming through on the
Something
Zoom?
together.
Somebody wave or tell me.
Yeah, can you guys hear? Yes, they do hear you.
Is this also coming through? Is somebody, yes, wave something? Testing? Yes.
Okay, fellow Israelites.
It doesn't matter. Wherever we are, we are. So you get a soft cover version?
I need a prayer book, please. I need a prayer book, please. Somebody get me a prayer book, please. You know what they are? You know what they are?
Oh, I can get it.
Oh, now we can start, hopefully. I don't know if.
One right here.
Shabbat Shalom. I'd like to know, anybody has anything good to share? Any news? Yes, please tell us, Roseanne.
My nephew's wife, but 6 days past her due date, but the night before they were going to start a new labor, she gave birth to an 8-pound, 2-ounce girl.
Oh, awesome. Yeah.
Marvelous.
Good.
She was, I told her she was,
So, do I,
Yeah, they're good sized babies.
okay, anybody else, any other news? Anybody happy that they were not at Meron?
Yes, I want to share we just started to watch the series of Greta Thunberg's year. Watch it, everybody, on PBS, on Greta Thunberg.
Okay, good.
Can you hear me? Bye.
What is the series?
Greta
Greta,
I have some personal good. Hello?
yeah, tell us, Len.
Okay. Doctor told me I am cleared to go to Aspen this summer.
Wonderful. Wonderful. I'm sure the people in Aspen miss you.
That's my good news.
We'll start the service on page 6 with Shalom Aleichem. I have anybody who wishes to be volunteer to light Shabbos candles? Roseanne? Thank you. I didn't ask if you wanted to volunteer. I asked if you wanted to be volunteer. Hope that was clear.
Come, let us welcome Shabbat. May its radiance warm our hearts as we kindle these tapers.
Yes.
Come, let us welcome Shabbat. May its radiance warm our hearts as we kindle these tapers.
Light is the symbol of God's presence in our lives. The eternal one is our light and our salvation.
Light is the symbol of the holiness within each of us. The human spirit is the light of God.
Light is the symbol of the Torah's teachings. For the commandment is a lamp, and the Torah is a light.
Light is the symbol of Israel's mission. As it is written, I have made you a covenant people to serve as a light to the nations.
Therefore, in the spirit of our ancient tradition, and hallows and unites Israel in all lands and all ages, we kindle the lights of Shabbat.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu, l'hadlik ner shel Shabbat. We praise our eternal God, creator of the universe, who hallows our lives through laws and ethical teachings. We are mindful of these timeless values as we kindle the lights of Shabbat.
May God bless us with Shabbat joy. May God bless us with Shabbat holiness. May God bless us with Shabbat peace. Amen. This being the fifth Sabbath of the month, we turn in our prayer books to page 96 for the fifth service, when it was used quite seldom. As the Sabbath descends, enfolds us in its mantle of peace, it brings to us a precious gift of time to embrace family and friends, time to reflect more deeply on the meaning and purpose of our lives, and time to worship in the beauty of holiness. May every Shabbat be for us a sanctuary of love and devotion, bringing contentment to our hearts, happiness to our homes, and blessings to our people.
Source of life and truth, creator of the eternal law, with purpose and desire within us for justice and mercy. We pray that this hour of worship may be one with inspiration. Help us by your knowledge that which is good. Lead us to take the words we speak to our hearts and our lives.
Bless all who have come here in search or in need, all who have brought to this place the offering of their hearts. May our worship here lead us to fulfill our words and our hopes with acts of kindness, peace, and love. Amen. Page 97. Come, let us sing unto God. Let us raise our voices in joy to the source of our life.
Let's come into our God's presence with thanksgiving. Our voices ring out with joyful song.
Sing unto the eternal God. Let us proclaim God's guiding power from day to day.
Honor and majesty are before you, strength and beauty are your sanctuary.
Worship the eternal God with the beauty of holiness. Let all the earth give praise to our Creator.
The heavens be glad and the earth rejoice. The peoples of all that is there.
Let the righteous be glad in God's presence and give thanks for God's everlasting goodness. Please rise for the Baruch invitation prayer on page 99. Baruch Adonai Elohim, praise eternal God, more praise is due. Baruch Adonai Elohim, Olam Vaed. Let us praise eternal God, all praise is due now and forever. We praise eternal God, creator of the universe, by whose laws the shadows of evening fall, and the gates of each new day are open. In wisdom, we have established the change of times and seasons, and ordered the ways of the stars in their heavenly courses. For the creator of heaven and earth, the source of all life, we praise him for the day in its work, and for the night in its rest. Page 101.
Infinite is your power, even so it is not. You see through the history of our people Israel. Your laws and ethical precepts, your statutes and ordinances, you have led us in the ways of righteousness, and brought us to the light of truth. Therefore, our mind bound in our eyes. We will meditate on the Torah's teachings, finding within it the inspiration and guidance for our daily lives. May your love never depart from our hearts. We praise you, God. You have revealed your love to our people in Israel.
Together we affirm on page 102, Shema Israel, Adonai Elohim, Adonai Echad. Hear, O Israel, the eternal is our God, the eternal God is one. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Vaed. Let us praise God, who is glory forever.
Shema Israel, Adonai Elohim, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Vaed.
You have to join me with the halftime Hebrew on page 103. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם, ושבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ושוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאור על ידיך, והיו לטודפות בעיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים, אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Shalom, the eternal God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. And all these words which I command you on this day shall be upon your
Pray on page 105 responsibly. The eternal truth is that we worship only one God, there is none else.
God is our Lord, and our people Israel, and redeemed.
Great deeds God has wrought on our behalf and wonders without number.
God has kept us in life, and has not let our people subsist.
The Eternal One was with us during the long years of oppression. Our faith sustained us even when our people suffered the deepest anguish.
We continue to be faithful to God. Teach us.
In God's way, guide the lives of all people and unite our hearts in friendship.
O Lord, God in heaven, sing your praises to their people.
Page 106. In the middle of the page. Oh God, help us to find meaning in our hopes, our struggles, and our strivings. Without the sense of your presence, we feel lost and empty. When all else fails us, we turn to you in the stillness of the night, when the outer darkness enters the soul, in the press of the crowd, when we walk alone, though yearning for companionship, and when in agony we are bystanders of our own confusion, we look to you for hope and peace.
We do not ask for all your needs, for happiness and our needs this moment. Instead, we ask you to teach us to be lighting and our darkness, help us to find your love. In our loneliness, may we discover that many spirits can give us the strength to face the future, hope and courage. So that living in the promises, words, and gospels we make our lives.
Make us understand that we are called on not only to enjoy the richness of the earth, but to exalt in heights attained after the toil of climbing. Let our darkness be dispelled by your love, that we may rise above fear and failure our steps sustained by faith. Give meaning to our lives, to our support, and our guide. We rise now on page 104 of the Amidah. We rise. 108, I'm sorry. Just not confused with the numbers. Back on top of 108. We praise you, God of our mothers and fathers, God of Abraham, God of Sarah, God of all generations. You bestow loving kindness on all your people. You remember the devotion of those who came before us. As you guided our ancestors with love, you offer hope to us, their descendants. You are creator and helper, our guide and protector. We praise eternal God, shield of Abraham, and help of Sarah. On the next page, we're responsible. Our God and God of our mothers, the God of our fathers, God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Heritage has come down to us through the long journey our people have traveled.
God of our mothers, God of Sarah, Rebecca, great legacy of the past thousands.
When others worship gods indifferent to goodness, our mothers and fathers turn to the one whose law unites all people in justice and law.
Love the secret princes and princes. Sages of
In a world where the weak were tormented by oppressors, our Torah taught us to love the poor and the stranger. All this now is ours. Ours the teaching, ours the test to make our heritage live. Continue. Infinite is your power.
Loving kindness is sustaining to the endless flow of blessings. Heal the sick, bring the captive, and faith with your children and death is mine. Who is like you, offer God the dead? You build mountains with children. We praise God, the source of eternal life. Matagi Boleolamai, Mifleva Pamata, Grable Oshia, Mifagir Chaim Nekesed, Mifagir Hakomer Hakamim, Somek Tovim Veoper Yodi, Umati Osurim, Umekayim Emulato, Ishene Afar, Mikano Kavarot, Urido Mala, Melekrit Mulhage, Upatsmiat Yeshua, Be'eman Natal Yotako, Baruch Adonai, Levayeh Bako.
Page 111. You are with us in our prayer, in our love, and even in our doubts, in our longing to feel your presence and to do your will. You are the still, clear voice within us. Therefore, when doubt troubles us, when anxiety makes us tremble, and pain clouds the mind, we look inward for the answer to our prayers. There they will find you, and there find courage, insight, and endurance. May our worship bring us closer to one another, so that together we may be strengthened in our devotion to you.
Sanctify us through your precepts, that we share your blessings. Help us to be satisfied with the gifts of your goodness, and grateful for all that you bestow. Purify our hearts that we serve your truth. May we preserve Shabbat as our people's heritage, from generation to generation. And deliver your rest and joy, peace and comfort for our lives. We praise you, our God, and sanctify Shabbat.
You may be seated as we come to page 113, 113. Bless all who have gathered here. May our worship be worthy of your greatness and your love. May all who seek your presence find it here for the joy of community, the gifts of human diversity, and the vision of universal harmony. We offer our grateful thanks.
Bless our nation and community. Inspire us to pursue all the riches of our neighbors. Build us in the those nations. May they thrive to establish justice, opportunity, and love. May labor to bring peace to the families.
Bless the entire household of our people Israel wherever we dwell. May your favor rest on the land of Israel, its diverse people and faith communities. Protect Israel against hatred and war. Grant that the promise of its rebirth soon may be fulfilled in peace and harmony. Be with us here where we worship you in freedom. May those who continue to live under oppressive conditions soon find release and liberty. Amen. 114. Page 114. We're
Gratefully acknowledge that the eternal God is our creator and preserver. God of our life and the shield of our health. We thank God and sing praises for the gift of life itself. Our souls are ever in God's keeping. The sign of our Creator's presence that we encounter every day. And for God's wondrous gifts at all times, morning and night. Truly, our blessings are without end, and God's outflowing blessings us. Therefore, be forever forever us.
As it's our practice, we'll turn in our prayer books to page 10 for the prayer of those in need of healing. Prayer invites, Prayer invites God's presence to lift our spirits. It allows the blessing and gift of hope to prevail in our lives. Prayer may not bring water to parched fields or mend a broken bridge or rebuild a ruined city. Prayer can water an arid soul, mend a broken heart, and rebuild a weeping will. Shabbat, we pray first for members of our congregation, people healing, Gary Kashner, Marvin Aaron, Mark Waltz, Mike Herman, Wayne Owen, who had surgery very well this past week, and Pam Owen, Martha Katz, Glenn Horowitz, Louise Diane Bergeson's mother of Dr. Bergson. I know that Denise would like us to pray for our friend Mary Newsom, who's at SCU. Caleb always asks us to pray for Michael Damaris, Marilyn Russell, and Richard Knobloch. Joyce says to pray for Lou, Stephen Lloyd White, Jennifer Bolden. I have a message here from Pat McKenna asking us to pray for Colin Charles, Bryce Clark, Hannah Jackson, Andy Becker, Mary Lou Becker, and Roseanne Doon. Anybody else as I know them? We certainly. I'm sorry, let's start.
Sharon's
Again.
Sharon Scar.
Our views for Roy Vessel and his family. John Vessel.
Summer. Anybody else online or Facebook or YouTube? Speak up. Definitely pray for everybody affected by COVID still around the world. And all those naive Orthodox people that gather together in Har Meron without any care or responsibility about heart. This thingy that wherever they did that. But we're in the hospital. Well, continue. We pray for all people with this power.
In our hearts, those who are near to us. Be the source of strength, who bless the ones before us. Help us find the courage, make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. We share bless those in the healing, with whom Shema, renew our body, renew our spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Pause now for a moment of silent prayer, using the words our hearts may prompt us, or those to be found on page 116 in our prayer book. Thank you. So, in keeping with something that I wanted, we're going to take the Torah out of the ark now. I'll leave it out, just doing the sermon, okay? So we will ask you to rise. Take the Torah out of the ark. Beit Yaakov, lechu benecha beor Adonai. Father Jacob, come and let us walk by the light of the eternal God. Shema Israel, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Hear Israel, the eternal is our God, the eternal God is one. Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonai, Kadosh Shemu. Our God is one, the eternal is great, holy is God's name.
We got it. We got the Torah. You can see it.
Beautiful new yards. I'll take our son business.
Just a minute. Let me get you focused again.
Let me focus on it. Okay, so you guys may be
Are you visible?
can you see me? Good.
Yes.
So maybe sit it that way. So we have something quite interesting in our society, which is this, I'd say this dissociation in the mind of many people between rights and obligations. Quite common to see people having, everybody's aware of their rights. Everybody's aware of their, the things that they have coming to them, but few people seem to be aware of their obligations. So this reminds me of a very dear friend of mine, Jerry Krause from Natchez, Mississippi. I've spoken about him many, many times. And we did a temple trip, just Jerry, myself, and Albert. We were there with Jerry. And Jerry says that when he dies, he wants in his grave to be written, he was responsible. And then his wife, Betty Jo, says she's going to be buried next to him. And then hers going to say, for what? But nonetheless, we have something interesting correlated to that, I think, in this week's Torah portion, which is immoral. And this portion has a summary of all the Jewish holidays. It gives you a summary of the cycle of Jewish holidays through the year. The many happy occasions, the Sabbath, Passover, Shavuot, Pesach, I told you, Sukkot, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, and it mentions this one special period of time that takes 49 days or 7 full weeks that run from Pesach to Shavuot. Right? And Shavuot means it's a plural of Shavua. Shavua is a week, 7 times 7. So it's 49 weeks, 7 full weeks between Pesach and Shavuot. And this is known as the Sefirat HaOmer, the counting of the Omer. And after the first day of Passover, we traditionally count each night after sundown. Traditional Jews at least will count the day. And when you reach 49 days, you prepare for Shavuot. It's the next day. Festival celebrates the giving of the Torah. Okay? Everybody heard about this? Everybody heard about the Omer? Good. There's a flaw here. I'll get to you in a minute. The overwhelming majority of Jews in the world, in fact, celebrate Passover. It's probably the most celebrated, I guess, in the United States, together with Hanukkah, most celebrated Jewish festival will be Passover. Even people who are not religious will do it. But, and people keep Passover alive somehow in their lives. I may have told you in the past that I attended one of 6 or 7 Jewish day schools in São Paulo. But the one I attended was not Orthodox, it was Zionist. And it had a place where you could buy food for, during this, the break time, to buy sandwiches, and throughout the year, you buy regular sandwich. One of Brazil's most famous sandwich, something called bauru. Bauru is a French, kind of like a baguette, French bread, open half, ham, cheese, and tomato. That's one of Brazil's signature dishes called bauru. And the real bauru is different. And one day you come to São Paulo with me, I'll take you the real one. But that's another story for another day. But back to São Paulo. So you could eat a bauru in my school's cafeteria because it was not kosher institution. But being Passover, the bauru came on matzah. Matzah, ham, cheese, tomato, and matzah. It was Passover. I mean, everybody understood that. Even if you don't observe they did Passover that way. Passover, we don't eat bread. We're not discussing ham. Made perfect sense to me. So then, so almost everybody will keep some degree of Passover, I assume. Only Jews who are somewhat traditional, however, will celebrate Shavuot. Most people don't even realize it's a festival. Reformed Jews have done a good job of associating confirmation with Shavuot, thus giving it a whole meaning. Shavuot is about the acceptance of the Torah, the commitment to Torah. In our community, community comes together and we try to have a tikkun leil Shavuot, where you stay up all night, the eve of Shavuot, preparing for Shavuot the next day, symbolic of the Jews who were up all night waiting at Sinai to receive the Torah, but there's no question that Jews are far more likely to be observing the festival of freedom that is Passover than a festival of commitment like Shavuot. Now, there's something interesting. The Torah says, I'll read for you what the Torah says, which is, I think, it's kind of interesting. It says that in Leviticus 23:15, you shall count from the next day after the Sabbath, from the day that you brought the sheaf of the wave of offering, 7 Shabbats shall be complete. Talking about celebrating 7 weeks, right? Well, pay attention to what it says. You shall count from the next day after the Sabbath. Okay, so if Passover ends on the Wednesday, what should you do? Wait till the Sabbath. Very good. What do we do? In fact, the day after Passover, we are at the beginning part. So, the rabbis who developed Judaism we practice, with rabbinic Judaism, they interpret the verse differently. they taught that the day after the Sabbath does not mean the literal Sabbath, but the day after Passover. After all, Passover is like a Sabbath. It's a day of rest. But this is, I think it's, first of all, blatantly violates the text. In fact, Karaite Jews, those who, there's a minority of Jews who they claim to follow the Bible literally, they really don't either, but as we said before, they do it after the Sabbath. But the rabbis are willing to reinterpret the Torah to affirm their values and their vision. And the question is, why do the rabbis insist on counting Passover, not waiting a few days? In my opinion, it's because the rabbis were trying to link Passover, the festival of freedom, to Shavuot, the festival of commitment to the Torah. They wanted to demonstrate that freedom without commitment is worthless, it's meaningless. So for the rabbis, freedom and commitment, rights and obligations, are the two sides of the same coin. You cannot have one without the other. To demonstrate, think about it. We all have kids, or some of us have kids, and then you hope your kids grow up, and then they leave the nest, assuming there's a film called Failure to Launch, or that kids will come and leave, If you give them something to do, and then and let them become who they want to be. But we don't give them this total freedom. It comes with an expectation that they will be committed to an education, to follow a career in academics, in the military, in business, and do something of themselves, that they will be committed to relationships and to responsible lifestyle. We too often, sometimes our children flounder, using their newfound freedom, and they make irresponsible or bad choices. But we hope that their freedom will become aligned with commitment. The rabbi recognized that freedom must entail certain commitments. This country that I'm particularly grateful this week because I needed the government came through for me, something I need to tell you over dinner. We sing that we are the land of the free and the home of the brave. Certainly freedom is a fundamental American value, but together with that freedom, we should have some commitments, from voting to serving jury duty, paying taxes, obeying the law, etc. Freedom without commitment quickly turns into anarchy. That is why the rabbis build this link between freedom of Passover and the commitment of Shavuot, the giving of the Torah. And I think as Shavuot has many interesting and exciting things about it, the study, the eating of dairy, of cheesecake, but the most important thing we should be looking forward, if we are counting the Omer, is the commitment of receiving the Torah. Because again, as the rabbis did, they connected freedom with commitment, so should we. And that's why we count this for 49 days. And have a good teaching about this in the book of Psalms, in Psalm 90, verse 12, it says, "Teach us to number our days that we may get the heart of wisdom." That's it. Shabbat Shalom. Complaints, remarks, anything? No. Good, that one. We'll continue with the adoration on page 367. 368 for a change. Okay. So, this is right. עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שהוא שם חלקנו ליחד את שמו, וגורלנו להמליך מלכותו.
Let us adore the ever-living God. We offer praise unto you, who spread out the heavens and established the earth. Your glory is revealed in the heavens above, and your greatness is manifest throughout the world. You are our God, there is none else.
We bow our heads in reverence before the eternal one, source of all life.
May the time not be distant, O God, and you shall be worshipped throughout the earth. When unbelief shall disappear, and error be no more. Fervently we pray, the day may come when all people shall be guided by your teaching. Corruption and evil shall give way to purity and goodness. Superstition shall no longer enslave the mind, nor idolatry blind it. Then all that dwell on earth shall know that you alone every knee shall bend, every voice to praise. And all created in your image, recognize in your brothers and sisters, so that one in spirit and one in harmony may be forever united before you. Then shall your reign be established on earth. The word of your ancient prophet be fulfilled. The eternal God will reign forever and ever.
On that day, the eternal shall be one, and God's name shall be one. Thoughts now turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people, the 6 million who perished in the Shoah, those of every race, nation, and faith whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. The Shabbat, anyone observing Shiva 7-day mourning, everyone died on account of COVID. As far as Shoshim, anybody have a Shoshim 30-day mourning period? As far as your sides, and please remembers F.L. Tuwait was the father of Catherine Portman, and Richard Stern, brother of Nancy Stern. Anybody else has a your side? The departed who now remember have entered into the peace of life eternal. They still live on earth in the acts of goodness they perform in the hearts of those who cherish their memory. In the beauty of their lives, abide among us in a loving benediction. Now, as a community of mourners, we come to page 375, and we join the ancient words of the Kaddish. Itkadal ve'itkadal shemei Rava, ve'alma tikra imte ve'amrik malke, ve'chayechon u'yomechon, ve'chaye bechol beit Israel, va'agala bizman karim ve'imru amen. Ye'eh shnei Rava mevorach le'olam u'lamei maya. Itbarach ve'ishtabach ve'itpa'ar ve'troman ve'itnaseh, ve'itadar ve'itale ve'italav, shnei le'shoshan brichu. Le'ela minkol bilchata v'shinata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiram ve'alma ve'imru amen. Ye'eh shlom ha'rava mi'shamaya, ve'cha'im aleinu ve'al kol Israel, ve'imru amen. Osei shalom v'brama. Shalom, Aleinu, ve'al Israel, ve'imru amen. May the source of peace and peace to all more, comfort all who are bereaved among us, and let us say, amen. Be seated. We had the donation in memory of Richard Stern by Nancy Stern and FL Tuwait by the Portals. Any announcements?
The board meeting, of course, is a week from this coming Wednesday. All the members are invited to attend. It'll be on Zoom. I'll send notice. Thank you, Rabbi, for lovely service. Thea for beautiful music. Thanks again for bringing out the Torah again, reminding us that
We have one.
we are the people of the book.
Yeah.
And
I thought the book was accessible Judaism.
No. Everything I learned, I needed to know, I learned in kindergarten. That was the goal.
Thanks. Well, I want to thank Roseanne for lighting Shabbos candles. Good job as always, like a pro. Good. We'll conclude with final lesson and 427 Rosh Hashanah Devarim, and then followed by traditional Temple Israel fight over what we're going for dinner. But that's only for the people who are present here. And I'm counting that Roseanne has a wonderful suggestion. Concluding our service, I ask God's blessings upon us. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha, may God bless us and keep us. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka, may God be kind to us and ever be gracious to us. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasim lecha shalom, may God show us tenderness and give us shalom, peace. Shabbat shalom. Shalom, people. Shabbat shalom, people online. Hey, Gary.